Okay, so let's start off. So today I thought of doing shoes because this is another something that is peripheral to drawing portraits, and we'll end up never really studying them um, with too much focus. And then when we have to make a full figure, often the feet land up looking two-dimensional. They either look too odd, they look like you're putting somebody on stilts, or they look too flat, or they'll when you place them at an odd angle, it looks as if this is a very unnatural non-human zombie angle of the foot. It Everything just looks odd. And I think the reason for that simply is because a shoe is essentially a two-dimensional sheath of fabric or material which encases your foot. So, unlike other three-dimensional objects, the hollow of the shoe is what gives the shoe its shape. If we were to draw something similar as a solid object, or even an object made out of a more solid material like metal or plastic, we make it more it's easier to convince with lines that that is what it is. Like, if you were to imagine the foot or the toe part of the shoe as like the top of a container, like a shampoo bottle or something, it's easy to draw that and convince the eye that this is a bottle made out of plastic. But place the same thing and make it out of something like fabric or leather. Because of that, there's a texture that you can see and sense and know from experience. But when you're drawing it with just lines, it becomes impossible and everything starts looking too plastic. So, in a sense, shoes are like the transition between fabric related objects like clothes, but these are moving more towards solid, also because there is a solid element of the sole and the heel. So this is like, if we were to categorize all the objects, this would be somewhere in between, or a combination of solid versus more. Uh, oh, 1 second. I'm just going to take this one call. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, so we will, as usual, start with sketching these shoes, and then one pair we will check, we will draw in detail and also color up. So let's just have a look at these lovely shoes. Yeah. As you might know, all of these shoes have some fancy names, and I wish I knew all these names. At one point, we did know, but now they're not important anymore. But I've tried to give you a range of footwear because all these become relevant in pictures. Especially now, if you're doing, say, a travel illustration, you'll often come across people wearing comfortable footwear like sneakers or um, these, whatever these are, Birkenstock types or flip flops. And in some rare occasions, you will see something fancy like this. Very rare, but this is more the structured shoe that helps us draw a shoe. Likewise, even this one, we would hardly see this or use this in a picture, but it has a beautiful shape. And these are the shoes which are wonderful on the drawing board and absolutely impractical in real life. But I mean, it's just like a fantasy. At some point, you feel, at least in a shoe shop, maybe I should just try this out. So there's something about this, however impractical it is, makes you enjoy it. So, like I was saying, we have to view this as a solid object with a flow. There's a certain fluidity to the lines and a fluidity to how these various materials are put together. If you've seen construction of shoes, these shapes are very odd when they're cut out flat, just like our garments, but a little even more intricate. So even over here, if you were to open this out, this might probably be in the shape of like a U shape or something, which when come brought together becomes the front of your foot or the top of your foot. Laces again are a combination of a texture like we've done last month, some materials, and plus to that there is again a flow to this. So this one we'll do last. Here is the more simplified version where you have a very basic base sole, and then you have just a very basic form to hold your foot in place. And over here you have a form that allows the foot to hold the sole in place. So we will start off with making this shoe first, then moving on to the flip-flops. Then we can move on to this high heel, then move on to a shape of this, and then eventually to these pair of Converse. And hopefully by then you will feel a little more confident in your drawing. Right, so let me explain a few things over here. If you were to look at this object in terms of lines, this would still form some sort of cuboid. You will still be able to see straight lines, which when you turn on the sides, you can make them into ovals. So you would have a much wider oval shape on opposite ends and a quick turn on opposite ends to get this shape because it is foreshortened. You see this on an angle. So I want you to be able to see these lines first. Instead of attempting to draw the shape of the shoe, draw these guidelines first. Even these you can draw. The corners can also be cut and drawn. And look at these lines in perfect objectivity. So I'm just going to quickly change the picture to something irrelevant. Can you see these lines? They make no sense on this page, but do you see them as angles? So that you will see some lines, if this is the horizontal and vertical, you will see them as lines and angles, not as the side of a shoe. And that is what I want you to be able to perceive even when we are looking at the original picture. So somewhere you detach from the shoe and start focusing on the line. And only then will you be able to also see the relevant lines in other objects. Like this is a curve, but this is a line. On this side, it is a line. On top, it becomes a curve. If you don't see this, then there is a chance that you might land up drawing something like this. And then you'll tell yourself, but I can see it's a curve. Why is my picture looking weird? You know it's a curve, but you do not see it as a curve. We need to differentiate between the two. And in all the other shoes, this is what actually all the other objects that we will ever draw, this is what we have to be able to see. Some parts are straighter, some parts are curved, and we just need to start seeing the truth in this and not the perceived reality. All right? Okay, so I'm going to share this image we are looking at the pink lines. Those are the guidelines that we want. And if you see yourself making anything like the green lines, which I've made only two of, then just evaluate. And I will help you through it. I don't expect you to immediately get the right line. I realize that in all these objects there will be a lot of options, and many options can be. You might find yourself being confused. Should I choose this or that? So let me help you in that. As long as you notice that I'm heading in the direction of the green line, arrest that growth. All right. So first and foremost, don't make it really large. Make the objects small enough so that we can manage any the size of the curves and shapes. Larger shapes are a little more difficult to manage. Smaller shapes you'll be able to get through. If you want to, you can start with a horizontal line and a vertical line to just give yourself some sense of perspective. That's always perfectly fine. I haven't shared that image yet. Let me just share that. Okay, I've shared that. So you may choose to observe the original image or the guidelines that I have shared, or you can flip between the two. Both are fine. Alright, so start off with some loose lines first. Every line you make will help you decide which is better and more. Okay, by the way, we are making only one of these shoes, huh? Not both. Only uh, the the shoe in the front, in the foreground, not the one in the background. So first you will get a, something like this, like a tablet shape. And then you can round off the corners. One second, I'll be right back. Alright, now when you're making the top flap, you can make these angles first and then draw the curve. And each of those curves has a separate height. So draw those heights. And really just try to draw straight lines first. It's a lot easier. Then you'll notice how the buckles on top can also just be drawn as squares. And once this shape has come, now you'll notice how my shoe looks a little short from the back. So now I can extend that line a little further and then complete the side shape. A little flat over here, a little rounded here. Whenever you have objects there's an overlap involved, always draw the whole thing almost like it's a transparent object and then dodge the lines. So if you have drawn something with this amount of detail, you can consider inking the design from this point on. So you don't need to make all the details in pencil. Okay, today I want to use a simple ballpoint pen for inking this picture. If you happen to have a pen handy, just try to use that. So there are lots of things that even a ballpoint pen can do for us. Another, well, it's not an art material, it's a writing tool. But if you can make friends with the humble tools that you find anywhere, then you don't have to always just insist on the fancy stuff to do art. And in fact, your art becomes a little more versatile also with that. And who knows what kind of textures or possibilities the ballpoint pen might offer. Alright, now if we want to draw this really refined, we also have to acknowledge the thicknesses of all these materials. And in order to draw this well enough, always start with what appears to be on top. So literally in this, I have the buckle that appears on top, and I know exactly where it is, so I don't have to worry about position. So here there's a thickness to this edge. That thickness is visible even at this point and also beyond. So just goes up a little bit and comes out like this. Now I can draw the side of the shoe. Oh no, I made a mistake. A little bit of ghai. Is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know. And you'll notice that in some places, like this piece of leather sticks out a little lower than the joint between the two materials on the sole. So in this way we incorporate the a little bit of the stitching, only if because there is a stitching here, that the line of the leather will be a little lower than the joint between the cork and the sole. So it definitely pays to pay attention to such details to make even a line drawing look very convincing. Now when you're drawing the bottom of the shoe, notice that there is a little bit of a texture at the base. So try to draw a wobbly line. And as you go to the back, you'll notice that this thickness very subtly reduces, whereas this thickness very subtly increases in the back. They often give you a higher back than the front. It's not an optical illusion, it really does exist. That is how the shoe is. So in this part you'll notice that the base is the sole of the shoe is based on a cuboid, but whereas the strap, the leather part of the shoe is based on a sphere, on a cylinder. So if I were to draw this in basic form, it would be something like this. It would be something like this and half a cylinder. So I could draw, theoretically I could draw a cylinder, of which only the top part is active and present. The bottom would be made of a cuboid. Do you see this? So again it comes down to a cube, knowing how to see a cube, and a half of a cylinder. Take me somewhere I can breathe. I've got so much to see. This is where I wanna be. In a place I can call mine. In a place I can call mine. I'm moving, I'm coming. Can you hear what I hear? It's calling you, my dear. Even this can be a topic, by the way, just buckles. There are so many subtle shapes in the buckle, which I hope you are all able to see. Like for example, the little this pin that goes through the hole. It's not straight. It itself has a little knuckle. So it's like this part, slightly bent, so that it does not easily leave the hole. The fascinating bit is that in every design, somebody must have come up with this thought and said, if I just were to make a knuckle on this part, it'll grip the leather better and not leave its whole. It seems like a small thing. It is actually physically a very small thing, but I wonder how many shoes must have begun to perform so much better because of this one intervention in design.
The sad part is that now they don't do that. Even though they know that it works, they've given it up for just sheer shoddiness.
Really?
A lot of, they don't even have a proper buckle. You're supposed to hitch the strap just underneath the buckle. It doesn't even go through. It's a very strange design of a sandal strap. You
Okay.
just hitch it under a kind of a buckle which doesn't go through anything. It's
I
just like a
didn't
latch. It's
understand
just
that.
kept like a hook, which
Oh,
does not work properly. Very, very badly made.
oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah, it's such a good design, but not followed now anymore. Really sad.
Okay, that's my shoe.
My soul is too thin.
What has happened? Your
My
solo?
soul, the soul, it's too thin.
Too thin. Okay. All right.
I've doubled it up. I mean, I haven't. I just did it with pen. I didn't. I didn't.
Nice,
I
but
couldn't erase or anything. But I know where the gulti
yeah, no, this is good. I like
is.
everyone's. Janita's good, Bhavani is good. Nice, nice. What do you think about the shoes that you've made? Give me some comments.
I've gone for body positivity, so mine is a really big foot. I did not think I was taking a stance, but looks like I have.
Oh my God. Okay, okay. Yeah, they're men's shoes. It's okay. Don't matter. All right.
These are one of the ugly shoes. Like Uggs. Like Crocs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're just ugly.
I have no idea how they became. Actually, this entire range of Uggs I'm okay with because at
Yeah.
least I'm warm.
Hmm.
But Crocs and Birkenstocks, I have no clue
They
how
really.
they
It's
became as popular as they have become.
shoddy chic.
Yeah, and they somehow work. I mean, even
Yes.
I have
They are
Birkenstocks. They
very.
just,
I have lived in Crocs. They're ugly as
yeah,
anything, but how
and they just
comfortable they are.
work. Anyway, all right. Okay, so tell me, how was it easy to draw? Or had you thought of it to be as easy, or did it become easier once we broke it down? I just need to.
Broke it down because of the angle. It's always the foreshortening that troubles one.
Okay.
To get the back narrower than the front.
Mm-hmm.
Just that idea of getting the heel to be, sloping away. And that same thing happens with feet, Aditi. With when you're drawing feet on people, it's
Yeah.
very difficult, especially when you're drawing from the back and
Right.
somebody is standing just slightly sideways.
Yeah.
So you have this heel, and then you
Right.
have a little bit of the toes and the sole to be seen. That
Mm-hmm.
foreshortening, whether it's from the front to the back or back to the front, both are tough. So this way, if you break the shoe up, maybe I think it's more of a hint of how to do feet later, because
Absolutely.
that's much more difficult.
So it's a shoes help us in many ways in disguising what the feet do or don't do. With feet, often also it is like working with a sheet of paper. So it's I mean, feet are amazing. They're actually just something like this, right? So it's a heel, and then they have something like this, and they do all sorts of things with this, right? So when we see them from the front, we foreshortened, they look really weird. Oh, 1 second, I just need to take this also. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, if we visualize a foot like this, when you look at it from the front, you barely see anything from the front. So, you don't know how to draw that. And then, as it turns on its side, also, you can hardly see anything until it is completely sideways. And in that case, again, it's two dimensional to really see the foot. So it helps if we are looking at it somewhat like this. This is the best angle in which the foot works. But then again, it is too flat for us to really draw it properly. But a shoe is this same thing more filled up. So you are able to simulate a better position or a stand that's believable for the body than the foot is. So, in the absence of any other information uh, that is going to enhance your story, you don't need to draw bare feet at all. They're a pain to draw. Just put some footwear on it and forget about it. Okay, so let's begin with the next one. So, in the interest of saving time, if you think that flip flops is just another way of drawing the same shoe, we won't draw that. Let's move on um, to the stiletto. Let me just share that.
I'm really looking out for a pair of heels like that.
Oh yeah.
Not that tall, maybe just 1 inch,
I know.
one and a half.
I have never had the guts to wear something this tall, but I love them.
No,
Actually,
yeah,
just once maybe I had a pair that I really, really worked. But
yeah.
these look more appropriate for dancing in. They
Yes,
work
but
very
no,
well
but
to
the
dance.
heel is just too tall unless you're a very, very good tango dancer. Then you can manage. Otherwise, even for that, it's impractical. Yeah.
It is. Okay, so let's start with our horizontal lines. So here again, you will notice how we will perceive that the heel is at the same spot as the toes because that's how our brain thinks. But at this point in this picture, the way it looks like is that the heel is at the same height as the top of our toes are. The distance between the heel, the middle of the leg, and the end of the foot are very different. Look at these distances. This versus this. There is even no comparison between that. So the chances that you might make the heel here and then the middle of the shoe over here and then a very short front because of how you think the shoe should be will make the shoe look like you're looking at it from the side, but the angle of the shoe would be like this, so you'll be making some kind of round feet to fit in this shoe. Okay, so I'm just giving these pointers and then this should help you to at least start constructions. We have a large circular shape on top, so let's try to notice the circular shapes over here. This is interesting. And we also have a nice circle at the base somewhere like this perhaps. And then we have another circle somewhere like this maybe, or even an oval if you want to get into that. With oval, the trouble is that you need to get an exact oval. You can't have something that's too roundish or too flattish. That's why I prefer to just use circles, but why not? Let's try this. We have one interesting oval here as well. Oh, I'm not able to rotate this. Never mind. Cut the circle in half this way, maybe by 10 o'clock. Then we have a line from here to here, center to center, something like that. All these lines are pretty parallel to each other. Okay. Okay, so in this case now, if you want, we can visualize a cylinder shape. So we have a circle here and a circle here, and they are connected by a heel shape, and then you have part of that cylinder cut open, and another part cut open in this shape. And here's another part. So literally this is, if you can visualize, maybe even a blob, like a cylindrical blob from where there's a drop falling out and spilling out onto the ground. And about this height and about this height away is our heel. Here again, pay attention to these lines.
Friday night and the lights are low. Looking out for a place to go where they play the right music. Getting in the swing, you come to anybody could be that guy. Night is young and the music's high. Where they play the rock music, everything's fine. You get the chance. You are the dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17. Dancing queen, feel the beat from the tambourine. Oh yeah, you can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Ooh, see that girl, watch that scene, taking the dancing queen. Your teeth how you turn him on, leave him burning and then you're gone. Looking out for another, anyone will do. You're in the
Okay, so I'm just drawing this halfway because I want to show you in this how I can easily place a foot now. That drawing the shoe is so much easier, and then all I need to do to place the foot in this would be to do this just with two lines. I'm able to create a foot, and it makes life so much easier. I don't have to draw the toes or anything. It's just this, right? So when you want to draw, let me just hold this. Can you see the leg in this? So it's much easier to draw this than to draw the entire foot. And how you would draw this is probably just break this down into these same shapes.
So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke, your love life's the array. It's like you're always stuck in second gear, and it hasn't been your day. You'll need your month or even your year.
I haven't drawn a foot from this angle ever, I think.
When the rain starts to pour, I'll be there for you. Like I've been there before, I'll be there for you.
Okay, now in this case, when we are working with a ballpoint pen, um, here too you can use the methods of shading like we do in pencil, just drawing lines. And using directional lines, you can give a lovely three-dimensional effect. And surprisingly, though this is not the intention of the ballpoint pen, it too can give us different shades. It can be pressed to give us darker shades, or sometimes very lightly to give us, or just scraped around the front to give us not so dark effect. The manufacturer of the pen might not be really happy because they are trying really hard to give us a pen that would at all times give us the same flow of ink. That's the whole point of a ballpoint pen. But uh, unfortunately for writing, they still haven't managed pens which give us that quality. But for drawing, it can be really good. So with every tool that you come across, even if it is not specifically a drawing tool, I would encourage you to study its qualities. Just before dismissing it, just say, okay, what can you do? Let's see what is possible. And as is in the case of the ballpoint pen, don't go by what the manufacturer says it does, because often they want it to do certain things, but it may be doing something else for which it is not being marketed yet. So, in a sense, at least for me, I feel the true test of uh, expertise in any field, or even not necessarily the skill as much as the knowledge, is how versatile that I guess the application of that knowledge can be. So, in the case of uh, let's say engineering, since my dad is an engineer, I often land up giving examples of engineering. If the person is an expert engineer, they will show their engineering everywhere, like my dad does almost all the time. He will find engineering metaphors in literally the most mundane things you could think of. But that's because that's how his brain is wired and that's how he sees everything around him. So his problems, the way he perceives problems, are engineering problems. And through that, he can find solutions that would work for engineering. Now, in the case of art, for us, when we are doing art, we may not perceive or solve our problems in the same manner, but in our case, the versatility is what all you can do with the skill that you're developing. So, like my parents used to say that if they made us learn music, so I used to go for class and give 3 exams and all. And their goal was pretty clear. They said, you don't have to become Lata Mangeshkar or anything. We know you have no hope of doing that. But at any social setting, if there's like a karaoke or a party or somebody asks you to sing, you should be able to at least hold a note. Just do that or join in, and not necessarily be like that diva that everyone has to. And then you say, no, I need a pin drop silence and I need this mic and I need this sound and only then I'm going to sing. That is actually very annoying and that has got very limited applications. It may have lots of adoration, but I find it a little like I'd rather not. So, in the same way, if you look at the versatility of your skill, you can gauge how much expertise you are gaining by how much freedom you feel when you see a tool. You should not have to say, I need only my specific 2B pencils from Camlin or Stedler or whatever, and then only this sharpener, and it has to be sharpened like 3.5 inches only, and whatnot. That is diva behavior, which I think is rubbish in any field. If you have a blank sheet of paper, it could be a napkin, it could be the back of a bill, it could be a rock which has a smooth enough surface, and you have a tool which can make a mark on top of it, you should be able to draw. Bring it down to the absolute basic minimum. And that will help you to also expand this into any other medium that you want to think of, because all you change is the nature of the surface and the tool, and it starts becoming really as vast as you want to make it. Like embroidery, for that matter. Embroidery is drawing with thread onto fabric, which is just threads which are woven together. So it's just thread speaking with other thread. What about, say, what is that thing called? Liquid thing. You have water and then you put put oil paint on it, and then you float your paper on it and pick up the design.
We used to call it
Marbling, correct, marbling. So that is also just a surface onto which a mark has been made and it's applied on paper. So you can, in many times, creativity comes from abstracting what exists and then recomposing. So what do we have? We have a tool that can make a mark, and we have a surface on which the mark has been made, and you have the hand that makes the mark. So you break all these things down like a science, and you can then say, okay, what are the different types of surfaces I have? What are the different types of tools? By tools, they can again be split into the inks that make the mark and the device that can hold and deposit the ink on the surface. Because if you don't have a regular pen, you can use a dip pen. If you don't have a dip pen, you can use a toothpick. If you don't have ink, you can use coffee. If you don't have coffee, you can use like jamun juice. Anything. You need a stainer, you need something that makes a mark, something that can hold it, and something that it can make the mark on. So if you become free enough to not need regular tools, then the world opens up for you. Oh my God, lovely. That is beautiful. Stilettos have been the pain point of many people, I know. Even mine for a long time when we were studying in college. Whatever happened, I could never get that angle or the height, and all of it has to do with just a few things like the back of the heel, it's not a straight line up, it comes inward a little bit. Ah, there, very nice. Bhavani is also really good. The heel is often also curved, it's not just a straight line. Okay, let's try making the tapina. Now, I think all of you will also be able to make the red shoe. Shouldn't be a problem. You know? So we've covered all those. Now what we have is this. This is a big flip-flop thing. Seems like a reasonably modest canvas shoe. But in the drawing of this, I don't know. Let's see what it can do. So first and foremost, ignore the laces. The laces are there to confuse and confound. Completely ignore them. Draw everything else. You will be able to see all the other elements. Then plot the points where we need these, what are they called, rivets. And once those are in place, making the laces will be super easy. Alright, so again, let me make a few basic shapes for you, lines for you, so you know what we're looking at. We've done a little bit of both of these shoes. We're just making the shoe in the front, not in the back, unless of course you want to challenge yourself, which I will always welcome, because life does not throw enough challenges our way. So yeah, so we don't see the back now, but we can extrapolate from the information we have and maybe give ourselves some guideline that gives us the back of the shoe. Not that it's very relevant, so it doesn't matter, just for the peace of mind. So here are the bases, and then from there we can draw everything else. I don't even need to draw this last line. Then we have then we have the long curves on the bottom. Here there's a little compound curve. Do not forget that. The front is decidedly wider than the heel part of the shoe. The ankle is slightly inward. Divide all these lines in half. Yeah, that's it. I'm not doing any more. Otherwise, it'll just confuse you even more.
Aditi, are you posting the lines one or we just do it?
I can post it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This shoe I'm making bigger than the others. So through the laces, you should be able to see the line of the inside flap. But what you might get confused about is this back over here, because I can tell what is happening here. So we need to flatten this line a little bit and introduce a fold just at the end. And it is reasonably flat, this part. Then you have that flap coming inward. My line has become too upright. I'm going to make it slightly shallower. So in a way, drawing a picture like this which has multiple lines is like writing a letter to, I guess, like imagine you are being tasked with writing a letter for somebody and they say, okay, write a letter for me. That is obviously not enough information. So you'd say, okay, who do I have to write the letter to? Okay, write a letter to my mom. All right, but you can't, that's not enough. So what do I write her in the letter? And then the person proceeds to give you information and then you seek more details. So this back and forth that you might end up doing with a person with whom you're writing a letter to or for is the kind of back and forth you have to do with the guidelines that you draw for your picture. Say you draw the first part, and then as you're drawing the second part you have more information. The first part has to be modified. In my case, I drew the first part, the front of the shoe, and it looked perfectly fine till I came to draw this part, the white toe patch. And then these patches, and I realized that my line was becoming a little angular. I had to flatten it. Once I flattened it, everything changed. I needed a bigger flap in the foreground, so then I had to change the line of my sole and so on. So this is the how the data that you start seeing changes the data that you have thought you were seeing beforehand. And in every case, like in this case now, I have a little bit of a fold. So when there's a fold, if you have a seam in that place, that seam jiggles a little and goes out of its track. This is something that you will often see in anything that is stitched, any fabric, garments like gathers, or even folds in curtains. You'll see all these things happen. Now remember in the back over here, you need to turn this line a little more severely. So it does not go and end like this in the back. There's a little black trimming over here. When it comes to the side and goes uh, beyond the edge of the shoe, it makes a severe turn. And that little line can make a lot of difference in how you see your picture. Then there's one part over here where there's a little bit of a narrowing. Now when you're drawing the rivets over here, this is how you will draw the holes. So we draw two oval shapes. That's fairly easy to make. And then we'll draw an inside oval. But here, instead of completing this oval shape, you will draw a small curve a little in the opposite direction on the inside of that oval. By that, we will get a little bit of dimension. It'll look a little thicker. And we can also, if you have this patience, add a little thickness to the edge on the outside. So over here, depending upon where your rivet is turning, first just draw the outside ovals. This one is distinctly an oval pointing sideways. Then you have one here that's slightly more circular. Keep the distance between these more or less the same, at least the ones that are in the front. And the ones which are horizontal, they will have a little less space between them. Now we don't have to draw the entire oval. We just need to later on. But here we need to draw just to know where it is. We have an oval shape on top, so I'm drawing the C shape and then inverted C shape sitting a little inside just for the top. Okay, once this is drawn, you can start drawing the laces. I have a feeling my proportion is very off. The front and the back of the foot are not talking to each other. But I'm not going to erase this because I want to see what is the outcome. So on the other side, I'm going to draw corollaries of, at least mark them where the other counterpart would go off the lace. So it becomes more accurate when I am trying to draw these. So like buckles, laces themselves can be a very interesting subject that you can practice drawing. Remember, the laces also have a little bit of thickness, and there's the inside flap of the shoe also visible over here. Wherever there are overlaps, remember to make transparency. Yeah, not bad. I think my front has become a little too large.
I'll make you cry when I run away. Take me back, 'cause I wanna stay. Save your tears for another. I realize that I'm much too late. 'Cause you deserve so much. Save your tears for another day. Save tears for another day. I don't know why I run away. I'll make you cry when I run away. Say tears for another day. Say tears for another day. Say tears for another day. Say tears for another day.
Okay, how's it going? Little bit of a challenge, no? Okay, let's see Bhavani's. How cute is that? It's pinched and all in a few places, but it's looking nice.
I haven't finished the laces, but this is how it's looking at the moment. I'm just
Alright.
doing the laces.
Yeah, this is quite an effort for you, na,
Yeah,
Elaine?
yeah.
It's looking good for how much you used to complain about how you're not getting so many things. It's good, it's good. Good track. Okay, let's see Shreya's. I see all your shoes. Nice.
Oh, it doesn't even look like a shoe. I just,
No, no, it does, and I wanted to see everyone, so I could just I could comment a little bit about this. So what's missing obviously is the angles. Like this angle, I think has come a little straight, but if you change that, a lot of things will change. But don't do it right now. Even in its distorted state, it's looking nothing other than a shoe, and that in itself is quite a lovely picture. Once we paint it, then it will look even more amazing, even though it's distorted. So, this shoe actually has a lot of potential. With the heel, you've got most of it right. The placement of just the heel part, I think you can get it inward. Remember how I said that in our brains we think that this part and this part should be equidistant. So you've landed up drawing that a little further. Even I had done that, but I didn't darken that line so you don't see it. It's a little inside. It's closer to the main foot part of the shoe. But this is good. Very nice. Okay, let's see Jainita's. Jainita, that date again. Why have you written the date over there? Please stop it. Okay. Yes, nice, nice. Wait. I didn't even, that date threw me off so much. I didn't even see your shoe. Nice. Okay, good. Very good. All right. Let's see Nita's. I'm not seeing any of Nita's, I think. Oh, lovely. Yeah, I can see the struggle. Good, but I think it's really good. Are you able to see the different, I mean, the flatness of things in all of this and
In
how
mind, you're saying?
everybody.
Okay.
So it's that what I had started off saying that a shoe has to be seen like a flat object that is molding a solid object, which in itself is also rather flattish. So, wherever you have fabrics which are folding or they've cut in a particular shape to mold, all those places you will struggle a little bit in the beginning. Only once your shoe is completely done, you might be able to see it differently. So, shall we try painting? We have 8 minutes left for class. I want to do this like a fatafat painting exercise. Ink this very quickly with a ballpoint pen or even with your regular micron tip pen, and then we're just going to splatter some color. So in the laces, you will have encountered a little bit of this problem of laces changing their dimensions. At some point, we will do these also. All the laces get a little pinched as they come to the rivet, and I wanted to show you how to draw the rivet in this case. It's actually just a hole, so you have to just draw a C-shaped hole and then the outside. So you don't really need to draw the whole oval in any case. So cinch up the section where the lace goes inside and then just draw the hole. And in this case, you will draw that C within the C and fill it up. Wherever you see a double line for the edge of your object, do make that. This poor pen, I just found it on my desk. It must be wondering I haven't worked a day in my life, and now what is she making me do?
I've been reading books of the legends and the myths, the testaments, the moon and its eclipse, and the Superman I wrote.
You can make a few marks over here for the stitches. And literally, you don't have to go overboard in making the stitches entirely. It's a few marks is fine.
Some fairy tale thing, something I can touch, somebody I can mix. I want something just like something just like I want something just like
Okay, it's taken us the 8 minutes to just finish this drawing. So maybe I can leave the painting to you guys.
Maybe a little rough shading if you showed us, and we can finish like just one part of the front, which you can under the laces. If you show, I think the rest we can manage. Even that, I suppose.
I think you'll be able to manage even
Yeah.
that. Yeah, because we've done parts of
Yeah.
the thing in other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have.
I have never attempted this shoe before. Now I feel if I want to try anything new, I should just feign a class in which I'm giving instruction. I managed to figure out when I have to explain in class. Great. Woo. So, Janita, I'm going to give you an idea. Now, if you want to write your date, firstly, don't write it so large because it is only for you to see. It's not for a teacher. I don't really care. And like our school teachers used to make it such a big deal that no, where is your date? You have to write it nice and big and clear. That's applicable for school type essays. But for anything to do in your book, think of something creative. Do not put your date in the place which is going to become the playground of your subject. So hide it somewhere. It is only for administrative purposes, right? You can also consider writing it in the back of the page if you don't draw on both sides. If you draw on this side, there are many ways in which you can make it discrete. So you can write over here along the perforation. In the perforation, so that if this were to be torn, you just have the date over here. So we can do something like that: 19, 11, 24. Other ways that you can write dates is just write letters. So there's only one month which has November, which has an N. So you can write something like 19N24. So that becomes intriguing, and you can make it as discrete as this: 19N24. Add intrigue. Be creative. So this adds to the picture. It doesn't interfere and doesn't take attention away. Okay. And if this is not good enough, and if you can't think of anything creative, don't. That's one way maybe I can discourage you from writing the date first. So I don't know if this is true with everything artistic. Like we have books, I don't think you should title the book before the book is written. You shouldn't title a poem before a poem is written, and you should not write the title of your piece of art before it is done. The title must come after. What we've learned where we put the title right in the front is because we are doing very, very servile tasks, which is, this is your topic, this is what you're writing about, nothing creative required, and that is perfectly fine. So if you're going to do some research on like how the heart palpitates, please keep that the header, don't get creative over there. But this is not that field. Here we are allowed to modify our outcome based on our mood and our feelings and how the artwork progresses. So the title must come late, and the date must come when the title comes, because you never know when you're going to finish it. And the date of finishing is the date of the artwork, not the date of starting. Okay. Nice. Very nice.
The
Eileen,
paint
are you
that.
happy? I think
I'm
we've
happy.
adjusted.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
At least
Very nice.
the proportion, the squelch in the shoe has come. You know, the way it goes in. It should have come on the
Yeah.
other side too, but it didn't.
But it's good. It looks like a very worn
Soft shoe, no?
Yeah.
But
Superb. I am mighty pleased. Please, when I put up this video, which
very
is going
nice.
to happen only next
Very
week,
nice.
on YouTube, I want everyone's comments on about this class on that YouTube video. You must write, because this is a tough topic, drawing this sneaker, and you all have done a great job. Good, very nice, Shreya. Once it's inked, how much it changes, no?
Yes, yes. It looked horrifying, but once it's inked, it makes all the difference.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Even yours is good.
Nice, Neeta.
I like the strength of the line.
Bhavani's, where's yours? Let's see it once more. Lovely. Yeah, put it closer. It's too far away.
Oh, it's fuzzing up. I'll give some filter.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice. Excellent. Great. Okay, so now I had suggested that we would do one extra class on the 27th. We can still have that, but we have technically completed all
Finished,
our
yeah.
classes. So I'll just leave that open-ended, and I'll let you know, depending upon how when we come back,
Yeah.
if I'm too pooped and I need to relax, then maybe I won't have that class on
You're
the
coming back which day?
on Tuesday. I will be on my
then
way
relax. Yeah.
around this time, yeah. But I do come by around 12, and is it 12? No, around 3. And
No. Then how on Tuesday?
sometimes, oh, you never know. Sometimes I have done this. I've come back from travel. Like last time I went to Goa, came back and immediately took my class in the evening. So there are some days are good, some days are better. So
No, but it'll be afternoon by Tuesday, and we've done our 4 classes, so
Yeah, we
give it a
have.
rest.
Yeah.
So, and when you get back, give us a review of your art
Definitely. Yes.
retreat. We want to see everything that they did and where you
Yes,
went
yes.
and everything. You should make a movie out of it.
I know. My
Little
daughter,
videos at least.
My daughter who's studying film is coming anyway. I should tell her, make
Oh,
her.
tell her now this is your
Good
project.
idea.
Make a interesting little trailer of an
Yeah.
art retreat.
I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Good, good. All right. Okay, so thank you everyone.
Thank
I'll see
you.
you in 2 weeks
Enjoy yourself.
then. Bye.
What do we
Thank
call
you
this
so much.
class?
Have a great trip.
This is Tuesday AM.
No, I meant the stuff we are drawing.
The shoe.
Artifacts.
Artifacts.
Yeah, artifacts shoes. Okay. Chalo. Bye.
Bye, everyone.